Hello and welcome to my TBR for the Goodreads Spring Challenge. So Goodreads started doing these challenges last year, and what they do is they give you two different types of achievements. One is to read a certain amount of books, and another type where they provide you a list of books and you need to read a book from each of those lists, and these lists are themed. There's a staggered release of these achievements, so although this round runs from April to June, the last prompt was only released this month, so that is why this TBR video is going to be released towards the end of the challenge. So what I'll do now is run through what the achievements are and tell you what I plan on reading for them. So the first three challenges are the ones where you don't need to read a specific book. These are just read X amount of books. So these are Page Turner, read 2 books, Speed Reader, read 3 books, and Book Boss, read 5 books. So with these achievements, I don't choose specific books for them, I just read from my TBR. And these achievements seem to also be the same for each of the challenges. So the first achievement where you have to read from a specific list is Community Picks. Read a book from a category voted for by the Goodreads community, which appears to be mysteries and thrillers from the last decade. So for this, I chose to read Home is Where the Bodies Are by Jeneva. So this book is about 3 siblings who are reunited when their mother dies. While going through their mother's belongings, they find a videotape which shows their parents talking about disposing of the body of a girl who went missing when they were children. This raises a lot of questions. Most importantly, did their parents have something to do with this girl's death? And why are they covering up the body? Then the next achievement is Trending Books. Read a recently trending book. For this, I am reading The Strength of a Few, which is a short book of over 700 pages. It's by James Islington and is the second in the series and is following the Will of the Many. This follows Viz, whose home was invaded by the Catalan Republic, leaving him an orphan. As he hides his true identity, he is adopted by somebody who sends him to an academy, where he must also hide the reason why he is there. And the reason why he is there is that his adopted father wants him to investigate the death of his brother because he believes that people at the academy had something to do with his death. In the second book, the world is expanded in a way that I did not predict, and that makes me really curious as to where the story is going to go. So I'm really glad that this book was included in the challenge, as I read the first book towards the end of last year and was really looking forward to this one, but it didn't fit anywhere on my TBR, and now I have a great excuse to read it. I am currently reading this. I have about 100 pages left, so I'll definitely have it finished before the end of the challenge, and I'm really glad that I got around to it. The Strength of a Few also fits for the achievement Marathon Reads, which is to read a long book, and as you can double up for the prompts, I can read it for both the achievements. Then there's Editor's Picks. Read a book picked by Goodreads editors over the last 5 years. So I was going to read The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. That's also another long book. However, I've recently changed my mind and I'm going to read Margo's Got Money Problems by Rufi Thorpe. This has recently been adapted into a TV show and is about Margo, who has money problems. But to expand on that a little bit, she has an affair with her English professor while she's at college, and this leaves her to be a single parent, jobless, and about to be evicted from her home. Then her estranged father reappears, and in exchange for him living with her, he will help with the childcare, which helps her to have the time to set up a OnlyFans account in order to make money to help provide for her and her family. This is another book that can count for more than one achievement, as it also fits in with summer reading, which is to read one seasonal read. I'm not sure how it counts as a summer read, but I'm not complaining. The next achievement is Book on Books. Read one book about books. For this, I'm reading The Book Eaters by Sunyi. This is set on the Yorkshire moors, and as a Yorkshire lass, this appeals to me. It is about a group of people who, in order to survive, they eat books, and whenever they eat a book, they are able to remember its content fully. Then Devon's son is born, and instead of having an appetite for books, he has an appetite for human minds. I wasn't that interested in this book when I first got it. It was in a subscription box, but learning that there's a horror element to it makes me a bit more interested in it. Next is AAPI Heritage. Read a book to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander heritage. For this, I aim to read Winter Moon by Samantha Sotto Yambao. This is about a pawn shop on a back street in Tokyo, which only appears to people who are lost and offers them a place to pawn their life choices and regrets. On her first morning as a new owner, Hannah wakes up to discover that the pawn shop's been ransacked. Its most precious acquisition is missing, and so is her father. Then a stranger stumbles into the shop, and unlike most of the other customers, he is there to offer help rather than to receive it. The next achievement is Escapist Read. Read an Escapist Read. Now, for me, The Strength of a Few is an escapist read, so I'm finding myself fully absorbed into it. However, it's not one on the list, so I've had to choose something else. The list is separated into categories, often saying something about who or what characters within the book are escaping. So there's escaping to a different timeline, escape on a holiday, escape from a cult, escape my mundane reality. And the book I chose fits into escape from this mysterious figure who is chasing me. And I chose Murder Road by Simone St. James. This is about a couple who take a wrong turn when they are heading to a small resort town where they plan on spending their honeymoon. They come across a hitchhiker who they pick up. Shortly after, they realise this hitchhiker is injured, so they take her to the hospital where she dies. It turns out that there's been a series of unexplained murders, and now our main characters, April and Eddie, are the only suspects. Then the final achievement is Pride Picks. Read one book to celebrate Pride Month. For this, I'm going to read Apparently Sir Cameron Needs to Die by Greer Stothers. This book I had never heard of until I spotted it in a shop a few weeks ago. I thought it had an interesting cover, an intriguing title, and an amusing blurb. I couldn't think of another word beginning with I. So I'm just going to read the blurb out to you rather than putting it in my own words. All his life, Sir Cameron has stayed as far away from dangers as possible. He is quite frankly too handsome to die a pointless death in battle. But then the church hands down a prophecy to his fellow knights. The only way to defeat their nemesis, the mad sorcerer Merulo, is to kill Sir Cameron. Short of ideas, Cameron throws himself on the mercy of the one person who now actually wants him to survive, the mad sorcerer. Merulo isn't thrilled to be babysitting a spoiled, attention-seeking knight, but transmogrifying him into a vulture is at least entertaining. Cameron, meanwhile, is on a voyage of self-discovery. It turns out he's really into surly sorcerers who lock him up and tell him what to do. Who knew? As a legion of knights surround their stronghold, the sorcerer's poisonous ambitions draw ever closer to fruition. Cameron is quite invested in not dying, but he finds he's also invested in Merulo, and sometimes supporting the sorcerer you care about means taking an interest in their hobbies, even if that hobby is trying to kill God, even if it might get you killed too. So it definitely sounded interesting to me, which is why I picked it up, and then it turns out that it fits this challenge, so I'm going to be able to read it a lot sooner than I anticipated. That is everything that I plan on reading for the Goodreads Spring Challenge. So far, I've managed to complete each challenge that they have done. However, I don't think I'm going to be able to pass this one. That's because I still have 5 and a bit books to go, and we're halfway through the last month. Ordinarily, this wouldn't be a problem. I've recently started a new job, and it's not leaving me with as much time or energy to read as I've had previously. But hey ho, such is life. So, is anyone else taking part in this challenge? If so, what are you reading? How are you doing? Let me know in the comments. And as always, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you in the next one.